Hello, good evening, viewers of Cafdil TV. It's another Thursday and we've come your way with another episode of Religious Vocation Digest. Today we are going to have a discussion on an association. Her executives are here. They will introduce themselves later. Remember, we are also live on Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast, YouTube, Cafdil EDU. Share the link with your friends and then send us your comments. This is Religious Vocation Digest on Cafdil TV. I will now allow my guests to introduce themselves, beginning from my right.
Father Bernard J. PSVD, the president of ARUG and Cathedral Administrator of Apostolic Vicariate of Donkokro.
Okay, thank you, Father. Brother.
I am Augustine Te Nati. I belong to the Marist Brothers of the Schools, and currently I am the provincial secretary of my congregation, but I work as the national secretary for the ARUG union.
Okay, sister.
My name is Sister Calista Tete. I am a member of the congregation of the Sisters of the Holy Cross. I live and minister at Takrady. I'm a member of the association.
Okay. Sisters and brothers, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. As I said, we are going to have a discussion on an association. And then when they were introducing themselves, they mentioned ARUG, or you heard ARUG. So to begin with, Father and Brother Augustine, when we say ARUG, what do we mean?
Thank you. ARUG simply means Africa Religious Union Ghana. Africa Religious Union Ghana. This is a union of consecrated men and women working in Ghana. And so whether you are a priest, whether you are a brother, a sister, order of virgins, and other societies of apostolic work, they belong and they belong to this union. And so this is what ARUG is all about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, brother. So how did it all begin, Father?
Yeah, it was after the Vatican Council, and then the church was looking for a way to involve everybody in the evangelization. So in 1973, there was a Pan-African meeting looking for what Africa can also contribute to the church. And when they met in Accra, they contacted most of the societies, the Knights, and then others, the Christian mothers and others. By that time, the religious were not invited. Let me put it in a way that we used to say they were praying their rosaries. They were thinking, we don't have any role to play. It was there that some few African religious saw it that no, we need to come together to form an association so that our voice can also be heard and then also contribute what Africa has got for the church so that they will represent that. Okay. That was how it all began in 1973.
Okay.
Yeah, by some few of them who started. Mostly they were the indigenous. That is why they had the name Indigenous West African Religious Union. That was the beginning, the name.
Okay.
Iwaru. First of all, it was Indigenous West African Anglophone Union. Then they realized that not only Anglophone, but rather others. So it moved from Iwaru to Iwaru. That is how it moves on. Now we've gotten the ARUG. Okay. So it's the Africans who wanted to contribute the African culture, what do we have, to be part of the church. That is how it all started.
Okay. So is that the main reason for its establishment?
Yes.
Okay.
For us, but the based on this prologue, Romans, the prologue is Romans 8:29 to 30. Then they have this, that every Christian is predestined and called to become Christ-like. those God foreknew, he also predestined, let me quote, excuse me, conformed to likeness of his son. So it means all of us have something to contribute.
Okay.
Yeah. So that the church will not move before later on they come and then ask, oh, what is the African religious doing? So that's how it all started. Yeah.
Okay. Brother, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think Father has said it all, but this group, as he pointed out, originally many of the missionaries that came were whites. And so some of the members, especially the indigenous members, found things difficult with some of their institutes and members. And so they thought that this group will be a support group to them. And so many of them were helped by the group, not in terms of money, but they were supported. So they were more or less trying to apply the independence, that the emancipation that Africa was working out. If you like, it should happen this way at the level of religious life too. So the ARUG came out to support the members of the indigenous who belong to such congregations.
Okay.
And then to add, they're also thinking that, believing that if they don't come together to push the contribution of an Africa into the church, a time will come, those who were superiors at that time were, as Pastor's brother mentioned, nothing from Africa will be, will be felt in the church, especially the culture and others I mentioned. So they felt very strongly that, as he mentioned, also to support each other also.
Okay. So, brother, what are the core mandates for you as executives of ARUG?
Okay. As any executive body will do, we coordinate the activities of ARUG. And so that is basically what we do. When we meet during our biennial congress, usually we come out with some agenda for the next 2 years. And that is to tell us that this is the direction we are going to move for the next 2 years. It is now the work of the executive to draw up strategies and means on how to implement them. And so basically, this is our mandate as an executive body, and we try to hold the group together. And so we come out with some activities that will bring our members together and that they may also benefit from the group. You don't set up a group that does not benefit anybody. So these things put together are what we are expected to do as executive.
Okay, so how are you able to coordinate the affairs of your members across the country?
We have each diocese where we work. We're supposed to have the assistant executives there. First of all, the vicar of religious, if it's a religious, then he will work with the executives, the assistant executive. That's what. Let me use that word.
Okay.
The assistant executives. That's their job, to work in each diocese. Whatever program that they're having, whatever that we have agreed on during the Congress, they have to implement them there. So that when we meet, we bring in report or we support each other and then we call. So that is what we do. The union believe that in each diocese, from the north to the south, west, east, each diocese, I believe have 20 dioceses or 16, 20.
20.
Yes, each, where the religious are, they are supposed to have a diocesan executives.
Okay.
If not, at least the president, secretary, and organizing at least 3, so that we work with them, and then they also give in the reports. Yes, it is true that if you remember, we were able to team up with recently the Jubilee year. We had the candlelight procession of one of our programs. That's how we were able to do it, because we contacted the assistant groups there, and then for them to organize this. at the same time for our conferences, we are going to have a conference. We had a congress here at Takrady this year, 2024. So that's what we did. The group there, they are the one that they work on the ground, and then the executives also move in there to see what is happening. That's how we're able to contact them and then do our work.
Okay. Thank you for that. Sister, are all religious members of this association, or they are supposed to be members?
It's more the latter than the former,
Okay.
meaning that all religions are supposed to be part. All religions working in Ghana are supposed to be part of this group. Initially, the idea was for only religions who are from natives of Africa who could be part. But as the group evolved, we realized that it becomes more exclusive because there are other people from other parts of the world who are working to better the church in Africa or Ghana. Okay. So as we were trying to grow and evolve the group, the executives and the Congress, I think the last one that was held, the idea was changed from it being for only natives of Africa to all religions who are working within the country. Because the mandate is to support one another. And people who have also come from outside, they need to understand the cultures within which they work. And ARUG is there to provide that support. So all religions are supposed to be part. And sometimes in reality, you will definitely find some more active than others. Sure. And I guess it's like that for all associations. Yeah. But the idea is to have all religions to be part of the group.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me chip in this. Apart from what you have expressed, you and Father being the president, what do you actually do? Because it's like we hardly hear of ARUG.
Okay. You are right, as you mentioned. When we were growing up, I heard in the seminary. So it means the SVDs who were attending these meetings, these seminars, will come, and anytime we meet in the seminary, we'll talk among ourselves.
Okay.
Some of the meetings, I remember we used to go with those are brothers' information to attend such meetings. Okay. So SVD, this is how the executives or the group are supposed to do, and we expect that it's also done in every congregation wherever they are. So that by the time the person come out of formation, the person is aware of it. But down the line, somewhere, something filtered out. And this is what the new executives is taking it up.
Okay.
At this time, we'll make sure we go to understand that we have taxed ourselves that there will be a time that some of our brothers will move into every diocese and then interact with them and see what is lacking there. If it's not in their formation houses, the group, the executives that are coming there will make sure what is the way forward. Okay. They will do that. So that's actually what is supposed to be. It is happening in some of the societies, but not all. Yes.
Okay. So what have been some of your achievements so far?
Historically, let's say, ARUG is 50 years and beyond. It was ARUG that started the religious coming together. From there, that our brother, the assistant priest, was born out of it. So at least that one, yes, the assistant priest association, we gave birth to that.
Theirs is doing better than
Very
us.
good. That's the point. So you see how it is. So that is where now all of us have to look for the full way forward that we're supposed to do. Okay. And then Institute for ICF also is a child of ARUG.
Okay.
Yes. So these are the two that comes to mind straight away.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me add this, sister. Talking about achievements, I think we will be saying what are the religious people in Ghana, what have they achieved? That's what I want to hear, because that is what we are talking about. We are talking about religious men and women in the country. Today we have many bishops in Ghana who are religious, okay? we have been able to produce some of them even outside of the country. When you go into areas of healthcare, education, and other things, though we have diocesan groups that are doing these things, or as a church, but we have seen more often the religious championing this part of evangelization in Ghana. And therefore, when they talk about our achievements, I think we can name a lot, and that is what we are doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
So just to add to what brother and father have said, the idea for ARUG was to provide support. And I believe that that support was very much gained by those who even started.
Okay.
Because a lot of these Africans who started later became superiors of their own institute. And the formation that they gained from their association with ARUG was very instrumental in navigating the challenges that emerged in their own leadership. And so as an achievement, it's helped to, for members who were Africans to also see that they can offer something to their congregations. Because as father has said, and brother also confirmed, a lot of our congregations were missionaries before the 80s, 70s, even until recently. And the leadership was also missionary. A lot of the leaders were foreign. So there was a way that there was a feeling of isolation and, you know, that coming from the members who had joined these religious congregations. And it's helped them to gain some confidence as to what they could also do as religious from Africa.
Okay.
So that boost was very good for members at the initial stages.
Okay.
So I would say that's a good achievement,
Sure.
grooming the natives and helping them to also gain their own confidence.
Okay.
And even just to top it up about, you see, the idea was what will Africa also contribute to the church, the African culture.
Okay.
How do you bring it in blend with it? So you could see that most of these things that are in were started by these indigenous, our brothers and then sisters who brought in this cultural aspect of it to let the liturgy also feel at home. So a lot of them contributed. So these are some of our achievements. And you can, when you move to some places, you see the Africanness or the culture within the church. So religious, that is what we say we contributed.
Yeah.
As brother mentioned, for schools, we can't count them.
And hospitals.
Schools, hospitals, churches, catechism. And we are still on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But then, to every coin, there is the other side. What has been your challenges as an association?
Sister is there.
Okay. Sister Calista.
Well, I'll speak from the personal perspective and also talk about the challenges as an association. I'm pretty young compared to in religious life, I have to say. And a lot of us did not really experience the reason for which ARUG was established in the first place. So there is a feeling of the association having lost its meaning among religious who are emerging. Because the thing is, we are all African religious living in Ghana. So is there a need to have an association in the first place? So that is the challenge that I think is stopping people from being active in the association. So personally, I didn't really follow much of what ARUG does until they held the 50 years Congress in Takrady, where I lived. So I got to know more about ARUG, and then I followed up on what ARUG is doing. So that is a challenge of reaching people to have an appreciation of what the group is all about. The other challenge is organization at the diocesan levels. ARUG heavily depend on a strong religious association within the diocese. Okay. And so where the association is not really established and functioning, it's very difficult for ARUG to implement its programs in these dioceses. And I have to say that we have quite a number of dioceses that may not necessarily have a functioning religious organization. It doesn't mean there are no religious there. There are, but coming together is difficult because there is no functioning. So it makes it challenging for ARUG to implement its programs and policies the way it would have wanted to, because we want everybody to participate, to be involved, to feel proud, to be an African religious, and to get the support that was the intention of its formation. But I don't think we have been able to do that in recent times because of not the organizations not being the same everywhere, like maybe in Accra or Kumasi or Donkokrum. So that's also a challenge for ARUG. And then I would say that as an association, because I was part of the plan, the local planning in Takrady, I know one thing is money issue is also a big challenge.
I was coming to
for for the association, because when you're organizing program, you need finance to support it. Sometimes it's even difficult for some to participate in our ARUG program because maybe there is lack of sponsorship coming from within their congregations. And ARUG as a body is also not able to support because of limited sponsorship. So it would be good to always come together. But doing so means that you have to get the money to be able to do that. And it's limited. We are limited in that way. So these are some of the challenges. Maybe father and brother can add something.
But before they come in, this finance issue, do you have any intention of soliciting, or do you solicit for funds when you have celebrations to organize?
Okay. Normally what we do is the executives, when we are going to have the Congress, the executive take it upon themselves, initially doing envelopes to give to our brothers and so wherever they are working to solicit for funds. But you know, this time those things are going off. You bring envelope because every Sunday somebody bring an envelope. So what we normally do is either we get a benefactor, we appeal to the person, and the person supports us to go within that. We're expecting that, as she mentioned, if it is functioning well in a diocese, even before the Congress at all, the diocese will can organize something and then get some funds now so that when it's time for us to go, they will use the support, but it is not coming. It all boils down to the executives. You look for the finance, get a benefactor, and then when the benefactor comes in to help, that is what we do. Individuals also have been doing it in our parishes. Before the Congress, maybe we have some lay people who are ready to support. You appeal to them, they'll be able to give you something to support other sisters or other brothers who are find difficult to attend. That's how we do it. The diocese or the bishop have not, we have not had a clear cut that this money should be put down for ARUG. That one there is. We appeal to them, and then
they support with something.
Some support. Sometimes you nothing comes. You see, so that's what we do. And it's as Sister mentioned, it's a challenge because of that. Most of the assistants are not able to attend this Congress, you see. So that's what we've been doing.
Maybe I will add that I will take this opportunity to put on record that some bishops have helped us a lot. You go there and they give you what much you need to support our programs. Father Andrews Campbell stands out clearly in this. But the point is, we cannot live our life on begging. And so the executive is thinking about ways of having a kind of a sustainable way of going through with our activities. And maybe it is, I will use this platform to say, though we have not finalized things, but we are thinking of a project work, a project that can generate money whilst we respond to the needs of society. We also have something that can keep us going. Think of a hostel, okay? Think of old people's homes. Those are the things that society needs today. And if you are able to provide those services, you would also have something that can keep the group going. But to add to the challenges we have, I will say that being missionary in nature and our congregations, many times you have a leader that has been appointed, and then tomorrow you hear that the provincial has appointed that person somewhere. And so the place becomes what? Vacant until you have to. So you will see that functioning of things becomes a bit challenged, okay? And we do not know whether it is a problem with our provincials. We go to places and speak about ARUG, and the members tell us they don't know anything about ARUG. And when it happens, we wonder if our provincials go to meetings, because during their meetings, ARUG presents reports. So we expect that our provincials will also take this up. So it is seeming that the support from the provincials is not so strong. And we would want that this, if it happens, it works so well. My provincial, for example, anytime there is a program of ARUG, he puts it on our platform and encourages the brothers to attend. And I believe that if others do the same, we would have ARUG growing.
Okay. You want to add something?
Yes, and one thing is that publicity is mostly around the Congress. Okay. And so after Congress, what next is something that sometimes it limits participation among the members of ARUG, because all religious working in Ghana are supposed to be part of ARUG. But you normally hear a lot of discussions when it is time for
an event.
Yes. So sometimes I don't know if it gets lost at some point about what is the annual program that would engage, because the Congress is 2 years. Yes, so after Congress, there is a 2-year interval. And I understand that there are programs for religious, which is supposed to be part of the ARUG program if we have a well-organized diocesan group. So I'll go back to what I have said earlier about when there is non-existent functioning religious group within the diocese, it really stalls ARUG's efforts, because the group heavily depends on having a strong diocesan group for the religious to feel like a family, because the whole idea is to provide support. So if that family spirit is lost, then it seems as if the essence of ARUG is lost.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's a big challenge. Yes.
Yeah. What you are saying is very true. During the Golden Jubilee of ARUG, I think I was there on Sunday for the Mass, and then in the evening for the get-together. especially in the evening, looking at the number of people, it was just a handful available for that, was it African night or get together?
Yeah.
And if this association is a national thing, and you have people less than 40 representing, it's not encouraging. Considering those in Central Region, Western Region, and Western North, even these three regions could have come in their numbers to support, but it wasn't that encouraging. It wasn't that encouraging. And I must commend these current executives. They are really doing a good job, considering the activities that has been put in place in the course of the year, that is from January up to this time. They are really doing well. So we pray and hope that things continue from there. So if you're just joining us, this is Cafdil TV, Religious Vocation Digest. We are discussing ARUG. The executives are here. They're educating us on what they do, what the association stands for, some of their challenges, and then the way forward. Kindly share the link with your friends and then send us your comments. Father, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, about the challenges, as you mentioned. And then things in our communique, we've sent it to almost all. Things that are supposed to be done, they are only. So we expected, as a sister mentioned, the diocesan executives to be meeting to implement these so that they will report when we meet at the Congress. Because at the Congress, we are now going to report, okay, we did A, B, C, D. We talk of catechism beyond Christian initiation. Catechism should not end at baptism, first communion, confirmation. After that, what next? We miss them. That big gap, or the person is going to marry, or the person is going to second religious life before catechism starts again. No, that gap. So unless the diocesan executive meets before they will be able to achieve this goal, and then they report. So as she mentioned, without functioning executives, in other places it's happening. They meet in their recollections, religious recollections, retreat, meetings, get together, seminars. They do in other dioceses. So we expect the rest, the dormant ones also. We are appealing that the dormant ones also should take it up. We know places where, as at now, the ARUG executives is they are playing a low-key role. We are appealing to you. Get up and then work. Let's see ourselves as religious, come together in our dioceses and then work to promote one another, because we need to support one another. I've been saying it. Yusuf wrote one of his stories about the oxen, the 4 oxen, and then the lion in the forest. The lion wanted to catch the oxen, that is the bulls or the cows or whatever you call them, one by one, and then they realized that if we come together, we will not be defeated. So anytime the 4 of them, they see the lion coming, they will put their tails together, and then their horns will face the lion. So whichever corner that the lion moves, he faces a horn, so it moves out. They continue to do that, and then they were able to live long in the park, until one day, somebody entered them and then brought a misunderstanding. Then later on, they started feeding, pasturing one by one, and then the lion managed to take them one by one. If we do that, religious life will fade out. But if we come together and put our tails together and then our horn to face whatever is coming, we'll be able to achieve the goal.
Thank you, Father. I wanted to ask if you are into any charitable works, but since you have financial difficulties, or you still do?
Maybe as ARUG itself, no.
Okay.
But as religious groups in the country, I can say yes, because we have many religious groups that perform all these charitable activities in the country, be it in the social work, in the health sector, and other places. We do that. But as ARUG, no.
Okay. Okay.
The mandate isn't necessarily to do charity work. The mandate is supposed to be support. So that's why I guess the focus has not been so much on, as an association to do, because if religious pay our work, everything is charity. Our work is works of charity. And so the essence of the group is, while we are doing that, what can the association do to support the individual congregations or even groups within the, because we have this JPIC, which is made up of religious, and they do different things as far as the environment, peace efforts are concerned. So how can ARUG support in those kind of acts? So that's just what I want to add, that the mandate isn't so much on physical works of charity.
Okay.
Yes.
So as a member, what do I stand to gain, or what do I benefit from ARUG?
We've been saying it and I'll say it again. Support. Support for one another. You know, belonging to an association, even looking at the history of that, why the association came into being in the first place, is to be a source of fraternal bond among people, because the culture of religious life is not an, for lack of a better word, from our indigenous culture, even though aspects of it reflect our own culture, but it is something that we got and we are learning. So how do we bring our own background cultures to bear on what we have accepted as our own? That's the idea. So the foundation, that's the idea for the foundation. So the main benefit is that we stand to help one another, support one another in our own efforts as apostolic religious, or as we go about our apostolate.
Okay.
So that even when individual congregations are doing something, one of the things ARUG could do is to promote publicity of it. And not very recently, there was something circulating on the ARUG platform about a sister who has just become a medical doctor.
Yeah,
and the way that she's being celebrated on the platform is encouraging. And as religious, we need support to encourage one another. Because we are very small in the world. We are small in Ghana. And so for us to be seen, we need to promote one another's work. And ARUG is one way of promoting and celebrating one another. I guess the idea for even coming together in the Congress is to hear from each other about how we are living religious life within our dioceses and our congregations, and to celebrate our successes, and then find ways of dealing with our challenges. So as members, we stand to benefit from that fraternal bond that we share. So I don't know if brother and father would want to add what they've been members more than I have, so they can add something.
Okay, I will say that I remember some of the words of Brother Pius. That was in Sunyani, and he was saying that when the white man brought the church to Africa as seed, he came with the soil of his country and then brought it into Africa and planted it in Africa. And therefore, when it germinated with a white person. So we have Africans who are yet white people. Sister spoke about it very well, about perhaps our culture has something to do, some aspects, but not fully. So when you are living your religious life, you live it as a foreigner, okay? Thank God we have some sisters who can look like an African woman, you understand? But a sister must always look with a veil. I'm not against that, okay? But is it possible to express our religiousness in an African way, where I will see a sister wearing the beads from my culture, okay, wearing the clothes as we do, and that is Africa. And so the group gives us this support that you live as an African who is a religious, and you feel happy in that environment, rather than you must always be in a white, you must always be in what. I remember in those days when the people came, the missionaries came, those who would not wear a long sleeve, white long sleeve, and a tie and a shoe, you are not a Christian. Okay? If you put on your wrapper as our fathers wear, you are not considered as a Christian. You have not actually repented. Okay? So I think that having this group is a way forward of making people feel at home as Christians and as religious and as Africans. So I think that the support is there. Somebody would think, as Sister said from the beginning, that perhaps the founding elements or reasons are not here, and that's why people feel they are not, they have nothing to benefit. But if you read the signs of the times, you will see that these same things, that the reasons why it was founded, they are here with us. Okay? We are all Africans, all right, but there may be challenges in our communities. There may be challenges in our congregations, and the ARUG as a union is there to provide the support. Okay? Then also, I can say that the association is also a platform for networking and be able to get connected meaningfully with people that you need. Okay? It was recently that I got to know that Sister is a lawyer. And I said, wow, it is good to have such a personality that you know. And so if you have some challenges, you go to the right person. Okay? We're hearing that medical doctors and all those people are coming on board, and we are celebrating them. We are celebrating them, and we will connect with them also. So I think that networking aspect of this life is something that we shouldn't play it down at all. Thank you.
And to add it to about the benefits, you know, recently there was what we did on the webinar about, we termed it religious galamsey. We know that in our communities, living with one another from different backgrounds is not easy. We will have challenges and others. So when ARUG met, or in ARUG meeting, we realized that we need to talk about such issues in our communities, and then find out those who will be able to support us in case any of us is having such challenges. Do you need a counselor? Do you need? So these are benefits that you get. As Brother mentioned, now as a lawyer, we are sure that the sister is ready for us.
With just a phone call.
Just for a phone call, and she will come. We have the counselors also there, just a phone call. That the person will be there, will be at your doorstep to support you. So this is what we need, you know. So that is.
Brother, you being the secretary, do you know the number of your members?
Thank you very much. This is a wonderful question, but it is a question that looks like, do you know how many people belong to the traditional African religion? Because you gain it by birth. You gain it by birth. So what I am simply saying is that the nature of ARUG is that anyone who is working, religious working in Ghana becomes an automatic member. And therefore, I will not be able to put my hand on any number to tell you that this is the number of our members. But every year, 2 years, when we go for our biennial Congress, we have a good number of people rising. Of recent, the number of people who came for the Takrady program, they were getting to 80 persons. And I think in recent years, this is one of the highest numbers we have recorded so far. And we take this opportunity to appeal to the former members. You know, I don't want to call them former members but sometimes you meet people and they tell you that when we were young, you know, when we were young, ARUG was A, B, C, D, and all that. And they enjoyed it and they speak with passion about it. So we don't retire from ARUG. So in fact, if all those people were to still hold on to ARUG, I think the number in terms of our activities will be appreciative.
With the number, let me come in. Every religious provincial is a member. So if you're provincial and you have 50 members, all your members are part. So the congregations that we have, if we have about 60 congregations with 60 provincials, all of them are members. And then their members are also members.
Okay. Sister, you wanted to say something?
I wanted to zero into the moving forward based on the question that you asked. One of the things moving forward is actually to have a data about the number of religious in Ghana, because as an association who suppose every religious to be a member, it's important that we have that information.
Yes.
So it helps us to track the members from wherever they are. If you look at the Bar Association, obviously there are people who are very active in it, but it's supposed to be for all lawyers, but not all. But if you ask the president of the bar, how many are your members, they will be able to tell because they have the data for it. So if we want to reach people, we need to know how many people are actually religious who are living in the country, so that we'll be able to know. And I think it won't be difficult to get it because we can get that number from the provincials or higher. So we need to have a
Even the diocesan executives.
A database of all the religious in Ghana, and we need to engage them more at the level of their congregation and invite in, so that even where there are non-functioning diocesan, executive and all of that, reaching out to congregations can help to sustain people's interest. Because obviously there is freedom of association. And even though we say that once you are religious, you are a member, we have to have active members. And the number ought to grow. And we have to know that not only when there is a Congress, but between the... so as executive, we have a lot to do to increase publicity and to have people know that there is a group like this, which is very helpful to them. Yeah. So
you see, as brother said, leadership or leaders, people who have been members, you expect that, they still keep on, because you prepare somebody to take over from you, then you doesn't mean you should go back. What do? You support the person to continue to do what you want the person to achieve. And this is where we still continue to call on all of them to come on board. As Sister mentioned, the data is very important to know those who are active members and those who, but we still don't want to use the word that somebody is dormant. Though it's a fact, as Sister is saying, it's a fact. Yeah, you get, but we don't want that one to be more than the active members. So also for on the provincials, as we mentioned, they are members, and their members are also members. So as you've mentioned, we'll pick that and then get the numbers down so that we'll be able to have it on our fingertips, so that anytime we meet, we know that we have these numbers, but these are the numbers that are active, and then we call on those who are not active also to come on board. So that is that, yeah. So thank you for that.
Okay. So Sister has already led us into our final question. ARUG at 50 and beyond, what is the way forward?
We still, the motto of ARUG is stay together, pray together, work together to proclaim the love of Christ. That's our motto.
Okay.
And we stand by that. So we will continue to stay together, to care for one another, to show the support, and then we pray together for that one another, and then we work together as people who are called to proclaim the message, and then to live a life that is a dignity of mankind, for people to also come to love it. The way forward is now we have to work in a vocation drive, because before we realize that it's affecting almost every congregation these days. So we have to put in place, as Sister mentioned, when the diocesan executives meets, what the communique brought it out is that we need to go in with the catechism, not only at the level of sacrament of initiation. We go forward. That's where we'll be able to get the young ones, share with them our vocation, be able to get them on board. And there's no other than that. It will mean that when we are gone, there will be nobody. So the way forward is vocation drive. That is it. If we're able to get a vocation in the congregations, we'll be able to maintain that unity and then that support. And the church will also move forward. So that's
and to the vocation drive, that is why we have this program, to promote all the congregations we have here in Ghana. They will come and then speak to certain issues, and then later tell us about their congregation. So I would like to use this opportunity to also appreciate the Religious Vocation Promoters Ghana, the executives, that is the core group. They've been doing a great job organizing their members to come at least every week to share with us something about their various congregations. So that one, I think we are working on that.
Just to add a little bit to how we can stay connected. You know, we are in technology age.
Yes.
And something that has just started is using technology to reach out to one another. Recently, the Zoom call was a great effort. And I think that if we keep doing that, we will know ourselves, and then because we know ourselves from that platform, people will be eager to meet one another.
Yeah.
That, oh, I've met brother, I've met father online. So when I meet him at the Congress, I was like, oh, we met this day. It's energizes, and it whets your appetite for meeting. Normally, if you just call for meeting in person, people are not, because they don't know one another very well. So one blessing that I guess COVID has brought is this whole thing about Zoom. And sometimes it's not the same as in person, I have to admit. But it's a great start for conversations and reaching out to one another, so that when we finally meet, there is already a bond. Yeah. And one thing too is that through this same platform, there have been a lot of education on different topics, which has happened. Some are organized by different groups, ARUG, JPIC, and there have been several topics of importance that have been shared about our life together as religious, how we can treat each other better, and all of that. Those educations have been great. And I've seen the ones that I have participated, the participation too is encouraging. Sometimes over 100, 150, 200 people are signing up, and everybody shares the OV. We should promote more of that during the time that we don't have the Congress, and reach out to people more, so that we will know what ARUG is and do the support that's needed.
Maybe I should add that the way forward is already here. In fact, what we are doing today is one of them that we intend to make ARUG more known, and not also to be a 2-year program. When we come together, socialize, and we go, it is over. No. So the education, Sister mentioned it, is ongoing, and our presence here is one of them that we would like to do, so that the members are always informed about what we are doing. She mentioned about the database, and I think it's one of the things that is very important for us, so that it helps us to grow, and perhaps getting in touch with individuals makes a lot of impact. You know, if we have a platform that somebody is celebrating a birthday, and it can be even automatically generated, and a message is sent to a person, and he knows it is coming from my group, I think the level of commitment can be boosted in a certain way. So I think if we do all these things in the coming years, ARUG will actually grow. The issue about catechesis, Father talked about during the recent Congress. We were concerned about the numbers of the Catholic members that are going down. And so that was the reason why this came in. And so we intend to push that agenda forward, so that congregations that are into education and catechetical activities can step up in this direction, so that the children that we are training will become true Catholics. It will not be just a name in passing through our schools, so that we make impact in society. Thank you.
The way forward, we're talking about challenges of how to finance the ARUG program and others, yes. The Jubilee year, the theme is friendly to the environment.
Yeah,
and then we've come to realize that if you want to bring any new thing and people are used to a kind of lifestyle, you need to replace it before you take it out. And we realize for the environment to be rich and then to live as Mother Earth, especially, we've realized plastic materials have taken over everywhere. Now, how do you replace it? You can't tell them, don't use plastic materials. So you have to replace it with something. When you go to buy food at the shop, it is in a plastic, then another one will be given, and that will be about 3 or 4 of them. How do you replace them? So ARUG, we are taking it upon ourselves for there's going to be our Jubilee celebration at Sunyani, that is 2025 National one. People come with shopping bags, polythene bags and others. So we want to have a project to produce bags made with material that is washable, reusable, so that pack it nicely, like your congregation. You have it with your logo on it, with a bag, minimum one, bigger one, so that when we rather they see us using those bags for shopping, you'll be able to replace it with polythenes gradually. So that's one of the projects that we want to do. Okay. And we want to take the Jubilee celebration to be, that is the platform that all religious come in. We're going to produce these bags, and we are pleading that you buy them, especially our sisters, so that we are going to materials, beautiful ones, so that when you take it when you come, you can wash it, and when it's spoiled, it will not cause any harm to the earth. So this is one of the way forward. This is one of the projects that we are going to do. And then another project is also, we are writing a project for water projects, that we want to produce water also at a place whereby that will also fetch us some amount of money. Is
it bottling water, sachet water?
We'll do the two,
okay.
The bottling and then the others. So we've tasked our project committee members to come out with a project so that will be put in place to support us, our finances. So that is that. Okay. So, and then we are going to be, I don't want to use the word, with a payment of the dues. Religious groups are supposed to pay their yearly dues, brother, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the word that we use. We are not going to use force. We are still going to cuddle them, encourage them, caress them, to always, when they are making their finances, they should know that their obligation to ARUG will also be made paid, because it's a responsibility. It's a responsibility. So we are appealing to the provincial. This one is an appeal.
Okay.
That will help us to get the money down before the Congress, because and then before the 2 weeks or 1 month the Congress will rush in, you are not able to do a good job. So that's what we want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the way forward. And we are going to engage the provincials now and all the time. Anytime they need us, we are ready. That's why we are working together with this Jubilee celebration. All of us are on board to celebrate it. I believe some of the dioceses have celebrated their mini Jubilee. I know Accra, very soon Accra is going to do, other dioceses have done it, it's on the platform. So we are all supposed to, this Saturday we are going to go. So Takoradi and Cape Coast. We are here, that's why I mentioned Takoradi and Cape Coast, not because of anything.
Cape Coast will be this Saturday.
Beautiful. So take Cape Coast, then Takoradi, and then is this Sefiyo also?
Yes.
Western North.
So we are moving to that side. So we are expecting to see Cape Coast, Takoradi, Sefiyo also, and then the others are coming. So the three dioceses right now, we are going to look up to, because we are here to make this program live for you. So it's a challenge to Cape Coast, Takoradi especially, because last year we were, no, this year rather, we were there for the Congress, and we know that you are up and doing, and you'll be able to do. So Takoradi, your mini Jubilee celebration, we want to see it so that we meet at the main Jubilee celebration at Sunyani also. So we are expecting Takoradi to do a good job for us.
Your final words to ARUG members.
Thank you, sister, and then the group. We thank you very much for giving us this opportunity, this platform for us to talk about ourselves, that Africa Religious Union. We are calling on all members that are working, that are religious, missionary, consecrated, working in Ghana, to come on board. And then we live together, we pray together, and then we work together. The main idea is to bond together and to support one another. Individuals, we cannot make it, but if we are together, we'll be able to achieve it for the greater glory of God. You are all invited to come on board. We will see you at Sunyani.
Yes.
At the Jubilee. That is 30th of January.
31st of
31st January. We are meeting
2nd of February.
It's Sunyani that is going. Now, the main agenda is the Galamsey that is going on, and we have all seen it. As religious, we started from January to talk about it. Now it is catching up the whole nation. We won't sit down for our water bodies, for our forest, for our nation to get spoiled. The children that are going to be born will suffer from the mercury, the other things that are being used to destroy our water bodies. So religious, don't let us sit down. Let's all come on board to go for the meeting, that is the Jubilee celebration there, and then make our voice heard. We can start right now, wherever you are, to talk about it, and then practical ways and means to cut this, whatever you call it, that has visited us. It is not the best.
Thank you, Father. Brother, your final words.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think all that we are saying here is it pays to come together. And so we continue to encourage all men and women religious and consecrated in Ghana to come together and let us work as a unity. You know, in that way, we will be able to make impact in our country and in our mission. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Sister.
I'll just say that, especially for religious who are pretty young in their religious life, to get involved in activities of ARUG. And if you are hearing about ARUG for the first time on this program, maybe this is the calling that you will receive. Find out more. You can read about it. I'm sure that when you Google ARUG on the internet, you will find something about it. So let's get involved. If we want more questions, we can ask our superiors, since they seem to know, or they are supposed to know a lot about ARUG. We should get involved in the activities of ARUG. When there is a program online or in person, that we should, as much, especially the online ones, because that one doesn't involve much financial obligation. Just log in and then listen to what is said, say something, and let's all come together to feel the support, because it is all about supporting one another to live this life, because our problems as religious in Africa is unique to Africa. And it is we that can understand one another better than anybody else around the world. So let's come together and do something for ourselves.
Okay. Indeed, let's come together and do something for ourselves. We will draw down the curtain here on today's edition of Religious Vocation Digest. I would like to appreciate my guest in a very special way. Father Bernard Appiah, SVD, Brother Augustine, a married brother, and Sister Callista. Sister Callista is not new on this platform.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for traveling far and near to join us, make ARUG known. I believe that not only myself, but other religious have learned something about ARUG today, because I knew little about ARUG, but I've educated myself and then our viewers and then new members as well. So we'll be glad to have you another time. When you have any activity, you can always call on us. We'll be glad to respond to you. And to our cherished viewers, thank you for joining us for the past 1 hour to do this discussion. I'll be glad to meet you next week for another interesting edition of Religious Vocation Digest. Good evening.